I've been playing pickleball for 2 years, and in those 2 years, I have won 9 5.0 gold medals and 1 5.5 gold medal.
And right now, I'm gonna share with you in order from helpful to most helpful, the exact system that I've used to be able to improve so quickly. Number 1, play in tournaments. Nothing beats experience. This is gonna sound absolutely crazy, but I actually played in my very first tournament prior to ever picking up a pickleball paddle. So it was actually me and my brother Spencer. We played in a 4-0 tournament. We showed up and he had played before. He's actually the one that got me into pickleball. And I was excited. I was like, I'm gonna absolutely destroy these 4-0s. They got nothing on me because I came from a tennis background, pretty high level tennis background. I have some state championships in doubles. Anyways, well, surprisingly enough, during this tournament, we actually made it all the way to the gold medal match. And as we're in the finals, we won the first game, they won the second game, or vice versa. And then in the third game, they had totally changed up their strategy. And it was a strategy that I had obviously never seen before because I hadn't played. And it was a strategy that my brother hadn't seen before. Instead of them hitting their dinks cross court, like how they were normally, they started hitting their dinks straight up the line. And so by doing this, it changed the angle that we were used to hitting. They didn't hit any more dinks cross court. It was like the weirdest thing ever. And so they just kept reeling off point after point after point, and we never adjusted to it, and they ended up taking the tournament. And the reason that we never adjusted to it was because we had never experienced that before. And so that's one of the great things that comes from playing in tournaments, is getting that experience, because unless you get that experience, then you're gonna definitely crumble under the pressure because you haven't seen their strategies, you haven't seen their shots. Everybody is going to play differently. By the way, the sponsor of this video is Titan. This is the ball machine that I use. I absolutely love it. It's the greatest ball machine of all time, has the greatest technology built into it, fastest motors, fastest ability to change from going super fast speed to super slow. It can hit you balls in every single direction, and the best part about it is that you just have to put it in one location, right at the center of the baseline, and it stays there throughout your entire training session. So I absolutely love that. It's extremely convenient. If you want to pick up one of these, you can get it for $100 off through my link. I'll link it right here as well as in the description. Let's continue with the video. Number 2 is focus on one thing to improve upon every single time that you play. Now, you've probably never heard this statistic. I actually just heard it the other day and it absolutely blew me away. So if you guys are ready for this, this is a crazy statistic, at least I think. Did you know that people are 42% more likely to fulfill their goals if they write them down prior to actually playing? So if I am ever playing, I need to make sure that I'm focusing on improving upon one thing, one aspect of my game. Maybe that's hitting 10 dinks before I speed up the ball, which is definitely something that I need to improve on. I speed up the ball way too often, right? And so I'll write that down prior to playing, and then I'll go out and play and I'll focus on hitting those 10 dinks. And since I wrote it down, it just makes this better connection with my mind so that I can actually achieve that goal, and I'm way more likely to achieve it. So when you go out, make sure that you're focusing on improving one thing at a time, not a number of things at a time, and make sure that you write down that one thing. Because if you focus on a number of things all at the same time, you're only going to get a little bit better at each of those things. Whereas if you focus on one thing, you can get really good at that one thing that day, and then you can move on to the next thing. Number 3, film yourself playing and then go watch it. You'll notice that you play completely different from how you feel like you play. You'll be like, oh man, that doesn't look very good. And the reason that I know this is actually just the other day, my friend was doing push-ups and I was critiquing his push-ups because that's what I do. That's what a good friend would do, you know? And I said, you're not locking out as you're pushing up. He's like, yes, I am. I'm locking out every time. I'm going straight. Just like this. He got up and showed me and I was like, bro, I need to film this for you so that you can actually see, because you don't notice that you're not doing this until you can actually see it for yourself. He's like, no, I'm locking out, whatever. So I'm fully expecting him to like over exaggerate it and actually lock out when I film it. At the time that I film it, he does the same exact thing because he actually believed in his mind that he was locking out. Dude was not locking out. So I showed him the video and he was like, oh, wow. It really felt like I was locking out. And I'm like, I know, dude. It really helps to just video yourself so that you can see what exactly is going on. And if you don't have a tripod, it's obviously not going to work. If you want the tripod that I use, I'm not affiliated with them in any way. You can get it on Amazon. I'll link it in the description. It's only like 26 bucks. So just go ahead, spend the money, get the tripod, invest in yourself. It's totally worth it. That way you can actually see what's going on. I also offer gameplay analysis, so if you want to get a game analyzed by me, I can take you step by step on things that you're doing that are great, as well as things that you're doing that aren't so great, and help you to be able to make better decisions and overall improve your pickleball IQ. If you are interested in getting your game analyzed, just comment the word game in the description and then I'll reach out to you. Number 4, drill 1 hour, 3 days a week. Okay, that's it. 1 hour, 3 days a week. That might seem like a lot right now, but I want you to guess how often the average pro goes out and drills. You think a few times a week, maybe 5 days a week, 6 days a week? They actually drill every single day of the week on average, and they drill in between 2 and 6 hours, just depending on the pro, okay? Sometimes it works for 2 hours for that day, and sometimes it works for 6 hours, where they'll have 2 different sessions. Now, obviously it's their job, but if you put that into perspective, they're getting in a ton of hours on the court, hitting the same shot over and over again. And that's what sets apart drilling from going out and playing rec. Because if you're just going out and playing with friends, it's a great time. It's obviously a better time if you're really good and you're beating all your friends, but it's a good time, but you're not getting reps hitting the same shot over and over again like how you would if you were going out and drilling. Because when you're drilling, you can hit the same shot 1,000 times in one drilling session in that hour. Whereas if you're going out and playing rec, you're probably gonna hit that same shot about 5 times. So it can be absolutely historically beneficial if you just go out 1 hour, 3 days a week, and just get out and drill. Something interesting, an interesting story is actually, this was right when I first started playing. I was about a month into pickleball. I was playing with my friend Jace. I hadn't played with him since the very first time that I had played. And he showed up and absolutely destroyed all of us, okay? It'd been a month since we'd played. And I asked him, like, bro, what have you been doing? He's like, man, I've just been practicing. It's like, what does that mean? I didn't know what he was talking about. And so that's when I learned about drilling, and that's when I started drilling. And 2 months after I started drilling, I won my first 5-0 tournament. So I went from losing, getting a silver medal in 4.0 to winning a 5.0 tournament in about 3 months. That's because I started drilling after month 1, which has been an absolute game changer. So dedicate that time and you will see massive improvement. Number 5, dedicate the first 15 minutes of your drilling session to working on your weakness. So I have a question for you. Do you think you should work on your weakness, or do you think you should improve upon your strengths? It's actually a trick question because you should do both. So that last 45 minutes of your training session, you want to focus on your strengths. You want to do what you would actually do in a tournament. In a tournament, you're not going to be working on anything. This is a big mistake that a lot of fresh out of the gate players make, is they think to themselves, oh man, and they're doing shadow swings like, oh, I got to practice my backhand, make sure that it's going in. I'm not saying that they're running around their forehand to hit a backhand, but I am saying that all of a sudden they get to the tournament and they think that it's time to practice. When you're at the tournament, you come and you have what you have, meaning you're not practicing there. You're just focusing on utilizing your strengths at the tournament. And so why would we ever want to just focus on our weaknesses when we're training and then show up to a tournament and continue to focus on our weaknesses? We wouldn't. You want to focus on your strengths more than you focus on your weaknesses, but that doesn't mean that you should totally neglect your weaknesses. You have to improve upon those in order to make it to the next level. I remember when I first started drilling, I would get out with my ball machine and I would hit thousands upon thousands of backhand rolls. I have a really dominant forehand. I've always had a naturally good throwing arm. So the forehand just makes sense to me. The backhand on the other side, on the other hand and the other side, has always felt just all around bad. You guys should have seen how bad these backhand rolls were. I mean, net, over the fence, like horrendous, okay? You wouldn't have believed it. I wish I had the footage to show you guys because it was actually pretty funny. But after hitting thousands upon thousands, I would say once I got to my about 10,000th backhand roll of hitting it, it started to feel consistent and good. And now it's one of my strengths in my game. I'm not saying that it's better than my forehand, but it's definitely something that not a lot of people have, is that ability to roll it in different positions. And that's something that I practice and people don't really know for hours upon hours, okay? So take that first 15 minutes, focus on your weaknesses, and by so doing, you're gonna prioritize hitting that side and get way more reps on that side to where it feels a whole lot more normal and a whole lot more consistent. And then dedicate the last 45 minutes to working on your strengths. That's what's ultimately gonna be most important, because your strengths are what make you you and unique, and ultimately it's your strengths that are gonna help you to win the tournament. Number 6, strengthen your mental game just as much as you strengthen your physical game. A lot of people actually say to strengthen your mental game more than your physical game, but I think that they encompass each other. They need to be a tie. My personal opinion, you might think differently, but either way, you have to work on your mental aspect. So I have a question for you. What do you think pros are thinking when they're match point down on Championship Sunday? Do you think that they're thinking, oh crap, I'm match point down, I'm gonna lose this? Or do you think that they're thinking, I got this, I can come back? What do you think's going through their mind? Maybe neither of those things.
Team 3-1. Second serve. Yep. Team 3-2.
Before I share with you what the pros are thinking when they're match point down, I want to share with you what I was thinking when I was match point down in my first ever tournament. I was thinking to myself, crap, I'm match point down, I'm gonna lose. This is humiliating. I had zero mental strength. And what happened? I obviously lost because I didn't have the mental capacity to come back. As soon as I got home from that tournament, I started studying every book that I could about improving my mentality, as well as studying any athletes that had a really, really strong mentality. And so I was studying Kobe Bryant, really, really good example, Michael Jordan, people like that. Also on the tennis side, Roger Federer, Novak Djokovic. What do they think when they're match point down? These are people that are clutch in the most high pressure of moments. Someone like Ben Johns, he's been match point down so many times and come back and won. So then you think, man, what are they thinking? So through all of my studying, I found this book called It's All in Your Head by Russ. I'm not affiliated with Russ, wish I was, that would be cool. He's a rapper, actually. His book is absolutely incredible. If you don't like rap, it doesn't matter because his book's not really about rap. It's just about mentality. And if you wanna have a really strong mental game while you're out on the court, you need this book. So go in the link in the description, I'll link it. It's an Amazon link as well. Buy the book, it's totally worth it. Check it out. It will absolutely change the way that you see pickleball. And the next tournament that you go into, you'll be the most confident that you've ever been. I also learned a whole lot more things, but I can't share them all in this video because then the video would be way too long. But one last thing that I want to share with you guys is about a reporter at the Olympics. I'm not sure what year it was, but he went around asking all of these Olympic athletes, all the people at the top of their sports in their countries, the same exact question. Do you want to know what that question was? He asked each of them, are you nervous? This was prior to them competing. Are you nervous? And guess what their answer was? Unless you've heard this before, you probably won't guess, but every single athlete, which is absolutely shocking, they all had the same answer. But it makes sense because they're at the top, okay? They have the best mentality. They all said, oh, I'm not nervous, I'm excited. When you think about the difference between nervousness and excitement, they're actually the same exact feeling. It's just how we label it. Because when we're nervous, we get sweaty palms, we feel anxious about what's about to happen, we get butterflies in our stomach. And it's the same exact feeling when we're excited. We get sweaty palms, we're anxious about what's about to happen, and we get butterflies in our stomach. So the way that you frame that will make the hugest difference. And so that's one of those 10 tips that I want to share with you guys. If you can reframe those nerves prior to playing in your tournament, anytime that you feel like saying I'm nervous, change it with I'm excited. Let's go. I'm excited to play in this tournament. It'll make an extremely huge difference in the way that you play throughout that tournament. And if you're a beginner, I just barely made this video for beginners. Big mistakes the beginners still make. It'll really, really help you to improve your pickleball game. So go ahead and check it out. I hope that you enjoy it, and I will see all of you on the next one.